The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah! Go Cowboys!
This is Cowboys StoryLine with Nick Eatman.
What is up? Welcome to Cowboys Storyline. It is draft day. Cue up the Kevin Costner movie if you'd like, but it is finally that time. There it is. That music only means one thing. It means the pick is in. And you know what? It is finally here, April 25th, Thursday. Cowboys, we think, are going to make a draft pick. You never know. I mean, they have the 24th overall pick. It's been talked about over and over and over, discussed every way possible, every scenario. And so, you know, are the Cowboys, are they going to draft at 24? Are they going to trade back? Are they going to trade out of the first round? We all know that Jerry loves to trade. We all know the Cowboys are going to want more picks than what they have currently. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if they get wiped out completely and they do want to move down. So want to hear from you, 888-855-2297. You can text at 817-290-3298. We have a couple of callers already, so we're going to get to that right now. But we will have, in the second half of the show, we're going to take a break for this show. And usually we don't take breaks, but we will today. We'll take a break so we can get Nick Harris will be in here. If we don't have enough Nicks already, Nick Harris will be here. He knows this stuff inside and out, and so he'll take some calls, and we'll be able to talk a little bit about what he thinks could happen. He just put out a 3-round mock for the first 2 days, really. So top 100 picks. He's got some trades in there. He's got some interesting stuff. He mocked all of the teams in the first 3 rounds. All right, let's get going here. Let's go, Irene in Virginia. You're first.
Hey, Nick, it is draft day. You are a man of the people having this on. I'm surprised you guys have this on today, but hey, we're calling, so here it goes.
Why not?
Yeah. Two shout-outs. So I don't have a man movie, and I guess, I don't watch enough movies to have one, I don't think. And I guess I don't karaoke enough, but since Rob's point is to get to know people more, I'll just quickly tell you about my morning. Involved a baby fox getting tangled and getting animal control to save the baby fox. Shout out Fairfax County Police, animal control. Anyway, so I'm a big animal lover.
Okay.
Second shout out, I am wearing my blue and white draft day T-shirt. My friend Kara got it for me. So just want to give her a shout out. She's a Commanders fan, so I should say Washington fan. She doesn't like the name change. So shout out for it not being burgundy and gold. And then my question for you, kind of along similar lines, is getting to know. One of the things we like about this show is like we almost feel like we're in the building.
Right.
So I like to know. I obviously know where the draft show people are going to be, and I know where the war room is up towards the facility. But where do you guys sit? Because you guys got to sit there for any weird stories and things. Are you guys just in the press rooms? Are there special dinners? Or like, what's going on? And that's all for me. I think we've talked a lot about the draft, but
okay.
I'll talk to you.
Who do you want to take? Who do you want them to take?
I'm starting to get on the Morgan train, but I want us to go back and do that.
Okay.
Yep.
Jordan Morgan, Arizona.
Jordan Morgan.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you, Irene.
All right. Take care.
All right. Well, we have kind of an area that's not too far from the war room. It's kind of where our offices are, where our cubicles, our offices. That spot is. It's kind of weird to say because it's like, are we the second floor? Because you can look out and see you're on the second floor because down on the field's down there, but. You can also go to this side of the building and you can walk right out. And so it feels like the first floor. So it's kind of hard to say that. But basically, we are on the same level as the war room. It's probably 100 yards away, maybe just right around the corner. So we have a TV and everybody will be kind of huddled around and, they'll get their, their computer set up and just kind of, it's a long haul for sure. Now the food is usually pretty good. It's where we always eat every day, but they cater some good stuff in. So it's always good. The draft weekend is usually a good time to eat as well. But it's a lot of sit around and waiting. That's what you do. You sit around and you wait and you see what happens, and then you get surprised by certain things, and you're like, oh wow, and how does this affect you? And then you finally, it finally becomes your time to pick, and then then you start getting little text messages, whispers, and things like that. And so we'll see what all happens today. I mean, today it's going to be. It's going to be different, but it's also going to be the same, I think. And that's what I kind of like about it. If that makes sense, it makes sense to me. I don't know if it makes sense to you guys. All right, Michael, Colton, California, what's up?
What's going on, everybody? I know everybody's good. Everybody's great. You guys work for the greatest organization in all of football, so I know you're good. But with that being said, I just want to say that, every year I have my big old wish list, like I told you last this and that.
Yeah.
But one thing I must say at the end of the day, I've learned to trust the Cowboys because their front office is great, man. I remember at drafting picks, right? So I remember the year they drafted DeMarcus Ware, man. I was at work listening to it on the radio, and I was I was mad. I was like, who's this guy from Troy? So that just goes to show I don't know what I'm talking
Me
about.
too.
You know what I mean?
Me too.
So I just want to
like that pick.
Yeah, so I just want to remind the whole Cowboys nation to be patient, just trust this front office, man. They're great at what they do right there. You know what I mean? And we're lucky to have them. And but also I just want to throw, if I may, add my little 2 cents. In case we don't get our running back that we're looking for in the first couple of rounds, keep your eye on a sleeper, Isaac Guerrero, man. That guy's pretty bad right there. We can find him and we can get him in the later rounds. So, but yeah, with that being said, Nick, I'm gonna go ahead and let you go. And thank you for having me on.
All right.
God bless you all and have a great day.
All right. Appreciate it. Thanks, Michael. And you bring up really good points. I mean, I was the same way. I did not want DeMarcus Ware. I didn't like that pick. I liked Derek Johnson from Texas, who was a good player in the NFL. He wasn't. He has not done a Hall of Fame speech yet, like DeMarcus Ware. So I just liked him, and I was a little surprised that they took DeMarcus Ware. So I've had to kind of over the years you've learned that, and they've taken. I'm looking at the last 14 first rounds. I believe they have 11 of those first round picks have made it to the Pro Bowl. The only exceptions there are Mo Claiborne, Taco Charlton, and then right now Mozzie Smith. But I mean, everybody else in one of those years they did not have a first round pick. They took Amari Cooper, who made the Pro Bowl that year. So I mean, I think that when you look at it, this team does draft well, and they have for a while. So I think you got to trust them a little bit on what they're doing and who they think will work. Now, it doesn't help that last year's draft and first round pick, of course, didn't contribute much at all. But I think when you look at the big picture, the bigger sample size, they've done really, really well. All right, let's go to Fernando in Miami. He's next. Fernando.
Hey, Nick. Good afternoon.
How are you?
What's up, man? I talked to you a long time ago. I talked to you after the 49er game, and I was talking about Tyler Smith, and he should be a tackle. So that was me.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna ask you 4 quick questions and see if you give me a good answer there. Number 1, a couple of years ago, when the Cowboys played the Giants in that playoff game and they lost, they didn't play Julius Jones in that game, and I've always wondered why not. And they went with Marion Barber the whole game.
Yeah, that was.
Do you know any reason for that?
I think it's been a while. I think they were trying to mix things up and just kind of show a different look. They've had 2 weeks to kind of sit on this. They had the bye week. They're trying to see what was going to happen, and if they gave the Giants a look that they weren't ready for, and it worked early because Barber did have a couple of really nice plays, but I always was surprised of why they didn't keep that because I think what made both of them better was just the 1-2 punch. So I'm not really sure exactly why that happened, but there was a lot of talk about that game. Some weird things happened in that game, but yeah, I mean it was working early, but they sometimes coordinators just stick with it.
Okay, here go. I got 4 quick ones here.
All right.
Number 2, do you remember that Cowboy wide receiver that was really good, but he kept getting hurt? I think this guy could have been awesome. Well, I'm going to tell you the name. Mike Sherrard. Remember him? UCLA?
Yeah.
I think that guy could have been awesome.
I mean, he wasn't great when he went to the 49ers, later on and some other teams because of all the injuries. But he did keep coming back and did continue to play. He played in the 92 championship game that the Cowboys beat the Niners. He was on the other side of that. So he played. Yeah. What else you got?
Okay. And then a football movie nobody talks about, Something for Joey, the John Capoletti story. You ever saw that one?
I have not seen that one. No, Something for Joey. It seems like an episode of Friends. I like it, though.
Oh, no, but this is a true story. You know John Capoletti? That he played for the Rams. He got a Heisman. He played for Penn State.
I've heard of him. Yes, heard of him. It's a little bit.
Capoletti, basically this movie, it's about when he played at Penn State, he had a little brother, which was like 13 or 14, he had leukemia. So then his brother would tell him, I want you to get 200 yards against Alabama. And then he was like, Joey, I can't do this. He was like, do it. And he would do it. And it's a true story. And then the following game, they would play Ohio State, and Joey was like, "Can you get 150 for me?" And then he was doing it. And at the end, John Capoletti, he was a white guy, he was a white running back. He ended up getting the Heisman Trophy. And then when he's getting the award, and everybody's like, "John, you're so good." And then he's saying that his little brother, he's the really the hero, what he has to go through. But, with cancer and leukemia and all that. But that is a great movie. Something for Joey. It's about John Capoletti.
All right.
And the last one, I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Okay.
A couple of months ago, you were talking about that you play the games to win them. Remember, you were saying you play the games to win, and people were talking about, well, if there's a draft choice or something, and then you were saying that if you have a son and you take him to the game, and it's the only game you go to. Mm-hmm. Imagine if the star players don't play and they lose the game. You remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, so my question now is, when the Cowboys played the Packers for that final game, it was the last game, and they were playing for Troy Aikman. If I remember correctly, the loser of that game was getting Troy.
Okay.
What would you have done in that game? Would you have tried to win it, or would you have said, you know what, let me put the backups in?
Yeah, you're talking about the 1988 game. I think it was 88 season, and I believe last game of the year or something like that.
Yes. The loser gets Troy.
Yeah. And the winner gets who? Barry Sanders?
No, the winner, I think the second one was going to be this
Tony
guy
Manders.
from the offensive tackle.
Yeah, maybe. I'm playing to win the game. I mean, I'm playing to win. I mean, because
really.
Well, you're saying that now. But you're also forgetting about the year 2009 when you're playing to get Jamarcus Russell, or you're playing to get Joey Harrington. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, it's easy to say that now because it was Troy Aikman, but I'm just saying, and the second guy was Tony Mandarich. But that's all hindsight. But when you're actually playing the game, you're going out there to do it. I mean, it has happened a couple years ago. Houston did it, and they fired their coach. They wanted them to lose. I just feel like now you are trying to play the game and win the game. You just it all comes down to who are you using and who are you playing. That's a tough one. It's happened 30 years ago. It happens in today's game now. It's tough for the coaches because front office has a different mindset than what the coaches have. But me personally, I'm trying to go win the game. I mean, that's what I'm trying to do.
That was a tough one. That was a tough one because I remember watching that game, and I'm always pulling for the Cowboys.
Right.
But I remember this is the last game, and I'm going, we're going to lose to Aikman if we win a game, and then we're only going to have, 2 victories or 3?
Yeah.
I was like, you know what?
Fernando,
What's up?
Not sure you know this. Tonight is the draft, NFL draft. I don't know if you're aware. If so, who do you think the Cowboys should take?
Man, they have so many needs right now. Defensive tackle, offensive line, even receiver, because I'm not sure about Tolbert.
I'll ask you again. Who do you think they should take?
Who do I think they should take? Well, the shows, everybody's saying the center, that guy Johnson.
All right, Jackson, Johnson, Powers, Smith, Lewis, whatever. Got it. JPJ. Woo! Chuck D in Bridge City, Texas. I'm going straight to you.
Hey, Nick.
Hey, Chuck.
I was just talking to Chris, and I was kind of asking him about like the draft room. I know he's involved a lot with the camera work.
Mm-hmm.
I figured they'd be real sneaky. You know how they leaked that photo a few years back about Jerry's was holding the card.
Okay. Yeah.
So I kind of asked him how strict are they? He said it's real. The TV's real delayed for that reason. They don't want something.
Right.
But anyways, he answered that. But what I was gonna bring up was you always say this, and I believe it. You say enjoy the ride. Like when we have a good season, everybody's stressing. What if we lose? What if we win? Seeding and this and that. I agree with you. It's been real nice to be winning 12 games because you got the Cowboys haters, and at least in the regular season, you can't really have, them talking crap to you because you're doing so good. Playoffs, that's another thing. But what do you think has to happen this next year for McCarthy to keep the job? Like if you go 12-5 with this young team, to me that'd be pretty good job.
Yeah. I mean, it would be a good job, and then it would be like, well, the narrative is always going to be because that's what the haters and all that, any critics, they're always going to be the same. They're going to be like, well, cool, good win, 5 in a row, 6 in a row, whatever the record is. Let me know what happens in the playoffs because that's what the Cowboys have kind of set themselves up for. So right now, that's what makes it hard to enjoy the ride. No one cares about this win, and even if they do, they want them to win. And you won't get upset unless they lost the game. But if they won, that's like, all right, well, I'm not going to get my hopes up because of what this team has done for them the last few years. But, that's just, I mean, I don't know what to say about that. I mean, that's just, that's how certain fans are. And if so, to me, it's a sad way to live. But whatever. I mean, you know what? That's what sports does. I mean, can you imagine? Did the Bills fans show up to that 4th Super Bowl, or did they just say, "You know what? If we win, we win. I'm tired of getting let down." I mean, that's what sports is. It just keeps sucking you back in, and makes us suckers of us all because of that. But it's kind of enjoyable too at the same time. But
you're right. Because when they lose, I'm like, I'm done. I'm not watching any Sports Center next day. I'm not watching anything. And next thing you know, I start listening to y'all, and it helps to listen to y'all because you're letting it out. You're venting to y'all. And you're like, all right, here we go, next game. And you kind of keep doing that vicious cycle. And here we are, draft. You're all pumped up just to wait till, that first game.
I mean, I had a guy,
all over.
Exactly. I mean, I had a guy on Twitter the other day that responded to one of these shows and says, I'm totally done. I am absolutely done with this team. I'm like, you're talking about a show in April. You're not done. You're here. I mean, we're all here. It's it. So, anyways, what do you think tonight, Chuck? Who do you want to get?
Well, I'd be lying if I said I'd wait till 9:30 and they trade back. I'd be a little upset because I've been staying up to wait, but I do want them to trade back. So we pick up, another pick, maybe get like a second round, early in the second round, and get Cooper, the linebacker from A&M. I'd love to have him.
Okay. All right.
And then possibly if we pick up the second, pick up one of these other centers that are like the third best center or something like that.
Yeah. All right. I'm with you. All right. Sounds good.
That's nice.
Well,
all right,
thanks for the call, Chuck. All right, let's keep moving here. We're going to go Leon in Sarasota, Florida.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. First of all, I want to say congratulations on how your show is really blowing up. The first time I called, when it first started, I was able to get straight through. Now you have to keep dialing till the busy tone is gone. But congratulations on that.
That's a good problem to have, right?
Yes, very good problem.
Yeah. Go ahead. Wait, what else you got?
The only question I have is, I want to say something in the question. I personally feel like Bass needs a chance on the line. From the games that I saw him play, he did very good. There was no trouble. His name wasn't being called, so usually when the lineman's name's not being called, he's doing good.
Right.
And I think we should kick Smith out to the a tackle because he did well his first season there, and I just think we should get a center. Or personally, I would like to draft a tackle because I was embarrassed and I wouldn't even plan of how we was getting ran through. And my question for you is, if you had a choice between a center and a defensive tackle, what would you choose?
A center and a defensive tackle?
Yes.
Center. Okay. Because I drafted a defensive tackle last year. Got to hope he's better. He's got to be better. He's got to be able to play. So I would take a center. I mean that would be. I mean you don't really. I mean I say you don't have one. I think this team really believes that one of those guys, whether it be Brock Hoffman or T.J. Bass, can develop into that. It's a little scary, but I mean that's kind of what they think. But if their center was there, I mean if Graham Barton is there, I think the Cowboys take him. I don't know if he will be, but I think that's who that they should take, and I think that's who they will take if he's there. Just don't think you will be.
Well, my fingers are crossed they take somebody on the line because on both sides we need it on the line. So, but thank you for taking my call.
Yep. All right, man. Appreciate the call, Leon. Good stuff. All right, lines are open here. 888-855-2297. Actually, they're not. They just filled up. So one of them did. All right, let's go, Rob in Vegas.
I think.
Rob.
Yes.
What's up, man? You're on.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
I don't know. I don't have much excitement for this draft.
All right.
I mean, I think they'll take. We all know they're going to take an offensive lineman.
That's why there's not a lot of excitement.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I think day 2 will be more exciting. I want them to stay away from Jonathan Brooks. I don't want a guy that tore his ACL a few months ago.
Yeah.
We keep going down that route. I don't care who this doctor is. I mean, he's not a miracle worker. There's other guys out there. And honestly, after watching that press conference, this year coming up, it seems like Jerry kind of said it. This is a tryout for the young guys. He basically said, I don't really expect much from this team. If they do good, and they win, that'd be great. Usually he's talking Super Bowl, and now he's raving about a fifth string tight end, like he's going to be Jason Kelsey. And I'm like, what are we talking? Why would you even talk about that guy? I don't know. It's just it's very weird, and it's just leaving a bad taste in my mouth. Of course, I'm a huge Cowboys fan, but I look at it like this is a tryout. You're going to see all young guys, and, hey, that may be good, that may be bad. But that's what Jerry's saying to us. Mike McCarthy, he might as well start looking for a place to live because I don't know how he keeps his job. The last caller saying, Mike McCarthy, even if he goes 12-5, he's getting fired if the same thing happens because the regular season is meaningless unless you bring it to the playoffs. Obviously, they missed the playoffs. He's definitely gone. So I don't know. I'm looking at this team, and I just don't have any juice right now because I'm getting such mixed motions from the guys that are running the show.
Yeah. Well, have you looked at the depth chart on this team, or have you looked at like the starting lineup or whatever? Because and I say that because I kind of was the same way. I think that's the consensus of what a lot of people feel. And then, I decided to put, here's your first round. I mean, here's your, starting lineup projected of the offense and the defense. And if you look at it, and I had a lot of fans that said, okay, it's not as bad as I thought. I mean, we got players. We got guys. And so I think let's just wait and see what happens here with the draft. We'll see if they get another running back in here. I know there's been some talk about that. Let's just see what this team looks like in a week or two. And I think,
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the offense is pretty much going to be the same, if not better. I do. I think they'll get one of these top offensive linemen, center. I think they'll get a running back. I think if they get a running back in the second, third round, I think he'll be better than a Rico Dowdle. And I think the offense will be just as good. It all depends on Dak, though. Let's be honest. If this guy thinks he's not going to get a contract, is he going to run on 3rd and 5 and do what needs to be done to, get the first down? I want to, this guy's looking at $60 million a year up on the table. So that, I don't know how CeeDee Lamb is going to feel. Is he going to get paid? The defense is the one that I think has the most concern. The defensive line took a hit. Yeah, we didn't lose Lawrence Taylor, but we lost bodies that contributed. Linebacker, we have really no idea what Overshown is. Let's be honest, he's never played for us. Yeah. So we can only go by what he did in college, and that don't really translate. And our defensive backs were thin. For some reason, they didn't want to bring back Gilmore, who I thought was really good last year. So I just think the defense is the weakest. I think the offense will be as good, if not better, if if Dak play well. And let's be honest, that was a career year for Dak last year. Is he going to be that good again? Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
My thing is not the guys on paper. I think we'll be fine, and that's what bothers me. That's what really bothers me. We're talking about a really good team. I thought it was the best team they've had in the Mike McCarthy era, and it seems like instead of building upon that, they're like, nah, let's blow it up now. And I'm like, you're blowing up now when you're going to spend, $30 million a year on Micah, $30 million a year on CD. Well, what's the point of paying those guys? Because if you blow it up, by the time you get the team to catch up to them, they're gone. So I just don't understand the attitude of. I say it all the time. We weren't 5-12. We were 12-5.
Right.
We were right there. The Green Bay game was awful.
I just don't understand what you think they should do instead. You want them to just sign players with money that they do not have.
But see, Nick, I don't believe that. They have the money. Philadelphia, they all have the money. They could work the credit card as much as they want. The Cowboys, the biggest issue with Jerry Jones is he doesn't want to pay these guys top dollar because he feels they got a star on their helmet. They should take a discount. It's a privilege to play for the Cowboys. And those days are over.
All right.
We are not the top dog in the NFL. We're the top dog money-wise for him, but they're not the top dog in the NFL. The Chiefs are, so it's like he has to – let's face it, he just doesn't want to write these humongous checks. But unfortunately, when you got great players, you got to pay them.
So what okay, I'm sorry. The call should end here, but I'm gonna ask you because what you're talking out of both sides of your mouth here. You want Jerry to pay these guys, but on the second hand, you're also saying that they should not blow it up. Like they don't have the money to do both of this. You wanted them to get,
but they do because if you do Dak right now, listen, I want a better quarterback than Dak. We all do, but there's four. There's maybe 4 to 6 guys better. That ain't available. You're not getting them. So you pay Dak. Now, you pay Dak, that frees up $20 million right off the rip. What are you waiting for to pay CeeDee Lamb? It's only going to cost you more money. He's gotten better. He's probably the best player on the team. He's gotten better every year by miles. So you pay CeeDee, you free up another 10. Now you got 30. Then go pay Mike. You can do it.
And do what? And do what with it? Cool. Free up money for what? What do you want to do? You want to?
Well, you pay Dak, you free up money. You pay CD, you free up money. You pay Micah, you free up money. Micah's the only one that would hurt us right away. But the other two are going to save you money.
And then
those are your 3 best players. What are we waiting for?
Okay, and then to do that, then you want to keep Dorrance Armstrong and keep those guys? Is that what you're saying?
No, but they're gone. You got Diggs.
So
keep
Diggs
who? On the contract.
Yeah. So
you got Diggs already on the contract. Deron Bland is young. You're hoping Overshown does something. He's not getting paid for a while.
All right.
The offensive line is intact. You're probably going to lose Zach Martin next year, but he's probably going to retire. But what I'm saying is, what message are you sending to the Dallas Cowboy players when you're not willing to write a check to your best players? These are your best players. You're not signing scrubs. CeeDee Lamb is probably top 3-4 receiver in the league. You're hesitating to pay him. You're hesitating to pay Micah. And now, Dak is an all-pro. Like it or not, he's all-pro season. Best season he's ever had. And now you don't even want to pay him.
Oh, my God. All right, thank you. Thanks for the call. Rob, they want to pay these guys, and he just told you in the press conference that they're trying to, that it goes in both ways, both sides of this. Don't give me that crap about what message are you sending. What message was Jerry sending to Emmitt Smith when he didn't pay him until he did? And then they won a Super Bowl. Like, this is every contract negotiation. This is what it is. They're going to pay these guys. They're going to pay them. But I promise you, whether they paid them last week, last month, whatever, that money is not going to get and bring in a player that you want. If you don't understand what they have up against them next year, then don't talk about the salary cap. If you don't understand that they have $65 million of dead money sitting there for next year, $65 million, regardless if they sign Dak, CD, Mike, that's sitting there. So that's the way it is. Now, yeah, they could make it. They could make his base salary a lot smaller if they get a new deal, and they will. But that's kind of for next year. What they have for this year is right now. Like, that's kind of what it is. They've got a little bit of money to do some other things, but anything that they do contract-wise is probably going to be to try to help this hellacious situation that they have next year. So that's what I'm saying. You got to understand that part of it as well. This whole thing is weird. I'm not trying to defend what they're doing or not doing or whatever, but the reality of it is they have been pushing and pushing and pushing, and in their minds they call that all in. So they've been doing all of that for these last 3 or 4 years. They've been all in to go win, and they've had 12-win seasons, but it hasn't been good enough. It just hasn't been good enough. That's it. But they have been trying. They've been going for it, and they're going to go for it this year. But after this year, it's going to be really, really challenging. And so it's a mess. But I know it's hard to understand the cap, and it's not like they come out here and tell you everything about it. So it's not easy to understand it. But until you do, and I'm not even saying I understand it completely, but until you have a good grasp of it, it's really hard to sit here and complain about what they're doing and not doing, because they have a big picture, and it extends into next year. All right, let's go to actually, we're going to take a break real quick. Take a break. We'll be right back. Got Nick Harris going to join us, talk a little bit about the draft coming up here on Cowboys Storyline.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Cowboys fans, after that move, we've just coined the term Rowdy Replay. Let's roll back the tape.
Okay, there's our mascot Rowdy cheering on the boys. And now he's on his phone, on his Bank of America mobile banking app?
Staying on top of his finances with his virtual financial assistant, Erica.
Bank of America's digital tools are so impressive. Cowboys fans just can't stop banking. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/can't-stop-banking.
Erica is only available in the English language. You must download the latest version of the mobile banking app, only available on select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. Member FDIC.
Welcome back into Dear Doctor, the show where I answer life's questions with an ice-cold can of Dr. Pepper. Sheila, let's hear from our next caller, would you?
Dear Doctor, my friend supported me during a tough time, but what's the right gift that says, thanks for being a shoulder to cry on?
Okay, this one's easy. I say give her a delicious Dr. Pepper. Nothing says, thanks, girl, better than a one-of-a-kind soda. Yes, any Dr. Pepper flavor will do. Now, just a reminder that I don't need to be a real doctor to know that Dr. Pepper is the one you deserve.
They say champions are remembered, but legends are never forgotten. United Ag and Turf offers a winning lineup of John Deere equipment built to tackle any challenge on and off the field. Legendary John Deere tractors, combines, residential mowers, commercial mowers, compact construction equipment, Gator utility vehicles, and a full line of golf and sports turf equipment. United Ag and Turf, the official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com to find a location near you. Back to Cowboys Storyline.
All right, we're back here on Cowboys Storyline. Chris Beam's got jokes. I got Nick Harris here. Nick Harris, do you know that the draft is tonight?
Really?
Yeah.
Really. That's
How
that's
excited are you that tonight is the start of it, and then are you more excited about tonight or Sunday when it's over? Or both?
It's a little bit of both because I'm going to qualify Saturday night just because whenever the draft class is finished and we can look through it and see what it's like, I'm excited for that point, but I'm also just excited as right now because there's so much that could happen ahead in the next few days. Really excited about it.
What do you think, before I ask you about what the Cowboys are going to do, because it's all domino effect, obviously. What do you think is going to be the biggest eyebrow move? And where you're like, oh, like something's going to happen around 10, 9, something like pick 14 that's just going to make a change to everything. What do you think could happen that could?
It's whatever happens with these quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Who trades up and gets J.J. McCarthy? And all the smoke coming out of this morning from all these insiders is that all 6 quarterbacks are probably going to be gone by the time the Cowboys pick even. So
that's a good thing.
That would help the Cowboys a lot. But they're also expecting those tackles to come off the board pretty quick. I think Graham Barton, if he's on the board there at 24, you make that pick. If you don't, then you start getting on the phones and getting out of, maybe even out of the first round, but definitely moving back a few spots.
Barton is the guy you think if he's there.
Yeah,
take
I
him.
think so. Yeah.
I agree. Now, where would he play?
Center, probably.
He's a center.
I would like to try him at guard just to see what he could do at guard too. But I think he would probably end up being the starting center year one.
So okay, let's go. And we got a couple of callers on the line, and we're gonna let them. Actually, let's go to them. Let's see
let's do it.
What they're gonna do or what they got. Dylan in Northport, Florida. Dylan, I know you've been holding. What's up, man?
Hey guys, how you doing?
How are you?
Good.
Good, man. Listen, I was going to talk a bunch of draft stuff, but Rob got me going here, and I got to clarify something because I'm sick, and I love Rob, so Rob, don't think I'm coming at you for this, but I'm sick of this team being compared to the Eagles as far as the cap, the deals being made. Listen, next year, the Eagles have the 5th lowest available cap space as it is on the books right now. The next year, 2026, 2nd lowest cap space. 2027, they have the least amount of available cap space in the entire league. Now, they can restructure deals, they can make room, but what the hell do you think the Cowboys have been doing all this time that's gotten them into trouble? Why do you think Dak has a $65 million dead cap hit next year? Because we've been restructuring all of these contracts, his contract, all this time to make room. And when you look at Jalen Hurts, they put all of their eggs in his basket. If he regresses to a point where they don't extend him in 2027, he's got a cap hit of $106 million. And he regressed last year. Let's be real. He finished outside the top 10 in every passing category. All right. The team imploded. So if they don't extend him, that cap is gone. It's done. $106 million cap hit. And he's got bonus options as well at the end of that for $87 million a pop if they don't extend him at any point in time for the next 3 years after that. All right. So stop comparing our situation to other teams, especially the Eagles, because the Eagles aren't what everybody chalks them up to be. All right, they've got problems here starting next year. We're going to see them in the same boat that we're in starting next year. So let's just move on from that and get over that. Thank you for letting me that.
Cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who do you think they should take tonight?
Man, you're talking about the Eagles, right? Because I went off on the Eagles.
No, I don't. No, we're not comparing the Eagles. I don't care who they take. I'll tell you this: the Eagles will take somebody that the Cowboys want, or you think that.
Dude,
I
said on Twitter they're going to take Barton. The Eagles are going to take Barton. It's going to piss me off, and then the Cowboys are going to trade back, which is fine, and the Cowboys are going to take JPJ, so it's all good.
Okay, who would you take if you're the Cowboys tonight? Who would you like them to get?
JPJ, because Barton's not going to be there. So trade back and take JPJ. Got to be a center. Center or bust.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you, Dylan.
All right,
appreciate
thanks,
that. Yeah, I mean it's supposed to be draft day, but it's always something. Yeah. If you had anything to weigh in on that, go ahead. But
something about the Eagles that I threw this in my mock draft both this morning and the first one that I put out in that draft guide. I put out that I think they trade with Denver to move up to 12 and grab the number 1 corner. I still feel like that happens tonight. I think they grow up and grab Terry and Arnold at 12, and then that's going to be somebody that kind of gives the Cowboys hell over the course of the next few years.
He's from
Alabama. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I was doing my 7-round mock, and I was going to put Wiggins in the 2nd round. I realized he was like a top 15 pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can make your mock look really good. You know, you're like, oh, how about this guy in the 4th? You're like, yeah, he's a top 10 pick, so good luck with that.
Yeah, like Caleb Williams in the 2nd. That's a good value.
Right. Yeah, sometimes it happens like that. All right, I would ask another question. I got Zach in Germany.
Let's do it.
Probably holding for a while, and it's probably expensive. So Zach in Germany.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
How are you?
Good, brother. How are you guys doing?
We're good. It's draft day, man. or draft morning or
Oh,
night,
man.
whatever it is for you. I don't know.
It's nighttime here. It's about 8:30.
Okay.
This is a pleasant surprise. I wasn't expecting to have both Knicks today. So.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
More important, the off season for the Cowboys officially begins. No disrespect to Kendricks or Royce Freeman, but it's finally here. Question I have for you guys: is there a particular round in this draft that makes you nervous?
Fourth.
For me, you said fourth? Yeah, okay, yeah.
I don't have a pick.
No pick. I guess that's a good point. Okay, for me, I'll say the second. The second round in this draft is making me nervous. I think in the first round, we're in a good position. We could likely either get one of those centers or a good tackle or trade back. I know we've all discussed it. The second round, though, right now, I would say running back is a big position for us. And everybody has a lot of mock drafts, either Benson or Brooks, coming to us at 56. The problem with that is the latest round or the latest pick a running back has ever been drafted was pick 54 in the 2014 draft. So if the first running back is slotted to come off the boards of the Cowboys, I find it a little hard to believe that both of those guys are still there. Is that something that makes you guys nervous if both of them are gone?
All right.
Yeah, there's a lot of valid
Zach.
stuff there. Appreciate it, Zach. Yeah, there's some valid stuff there and stuff that I've been kind of thinking about too. Only once in the common draft era has the first running back come off the board after 56. So you would have to assume that, if the Cowboys want to get their guy, which you assume is Jonathan Brooks, that first running back is not off the board before then. And if it is, it's Trey Benson. But also factored into all of that, there's still really good running back value in the third round if you want to wait till then. You could get a Marshawn Lloyd from USC or a Braylon Allen from Wisconsin. The reason you would potentially do that is to get a linebacker there in the second round. If an Edgerrin Cooper is on the board or if a Peyton Wilson is on the board, you probably feel a little bit better about that talent than you would the running back talent in that group. I think the second round, it's going to be very pivotal towards where they feel like the direction of the needs are on this team. I think there's going to be a lot of questions answered after that second round pick, especially just kind of given who's on the board. And if it's all of those players, then that'll tell us more than that.
Yeah, I hope that they sort of pivot a little bit from the second round like reach part of trying to get some steal value in the second round, just because this team didn't have a free agency really, and they need players, as many players that can step right in and play. So Trayvon Diggs was a really good second round pick. He was ready to play, but aside from him, it's been the round where there's been some question marks about the player's character, his injury history, or whatever, or both. And so I'm hoping that they maybe stay away from that this year, but I don't know if Jared.
It's kind of tough because you look at Jonathan Brooks, torn ACL. Trey Benson had a torn ACL his freshman year. Peyton Wilson has had 2 torn ACLs and a shoulder surgery.
You don't have enough fingers for Peyton Wilson, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, they every linebacker they've ever drafted has been healthy, right? I mean, I joke. Sean Lee.
Well, yeah, DeMarvion Overshown, and then he tore his ACL.
Right. Yeah. Bruce Carter, Sean Lee, Leighton Vander Esch, they all had injury concerns, and they all had some injuries. All right, good stuff. All right, let's go to. Are you ready? I don't know what your volume is like. Here we go. Ali in Florida. Don't yell at me. Ali.
Hello, Mr. Nick Aitman.
How you doing?
Pretty good. I try to don't turn the volume on.
No.
So
bring it,
Mr. Harris, welcome to the StoryLine.
Hey, thank you, Ali.
Thank you for all the great job you do, but you got to remember, this is a #1 podcast.
Okay.
So you got to be more guests often. So anyways, I've got a question for you. I personally think if the Cowboys have the player on 24, they're going to go for trust them 100%. But personally, I think it's a landmine because all these end of all the team at the end, they're going to jump each other. If we gear up for a player we want, they're going to jump in front of us. So I was thinking if the Cowboys trade either with Kansas City or Carolina, first, the second, top of the second round, I'd like to get maybe either Zach Frazier or Power Johnson. One of those two center. Then for the second pick, I'd like to take a tackle. So that's what I have.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
He's going O-line right off the bat.
Yeah.
And, Jackson Powers Johnson is interesting because I think there's a lot of talk that he would be a player to take there at 24 or whatever, but not sure the Cowboys even have him rated that high.
Yeah, I don't think the Cowboys take Jackson Powers Johnson and
at all.
At all. And I think it's funny. I have a good friend of mine that plays up in the Oregon program, and he was on the team last year. And I just kind of called him last night just to kind of catch up, A, and B, to ask about a couple of these guys. And one of them was Jackson Powers Johnson. He's like, look, man, when he steps on the field, phenomenal player, great player, just kind of a different cat off the field. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just more so. I think whenever you meet a guy and it's kind of off-putting, then that's your only impression. And especially in a draft process, that could be really interesting to kind of evaluate. But I think as time goes on and you start to develop that relationship, it can be different. But I don't think that's the concern with JPJ in this building. I think there's been medical concerns coming out throughout the draft process, and also I think there are better centers, multiple centers than Jackson Powers Johnson. So we'll see as time goes on. Though.
Where does Frazier fall in all this?
Frazier is an interesting one too because he's coming off of that broken leg. He's more of a stout guy that I think he's got some knacks in run blocking. Don't get me wrong, and he's aggressive. He's tough. He's kind of a wild dog in the middle of that offensive line. But I worry about how much further he has to develop. I think he's kind of a sure product of what he is already. That's just my point of view. I could be very wrong just because he is a tough dude, and you've seen that work ethic in his time up in Morgantown. But I think he's what product you're getting with Zach Frazier.
All right, let's keep it rolling here. Josh is in San Francisco. Josh, I think it's good morning over there. Josh, what's up?
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Afternoon. Okay. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, happy draft day. It's an exciting day today.
Yeah.
I love this day. I was going to tie you one off topic here. I should get a T-shirt or something just for being behind enemy lines here. It's not easy being in San Francisco at these during these times.
Yeah, but would you wear it?
Oh, proudly. In fact,
good.
I've never heard a more confident probably. He's like, yeah, probably.
No, proudly.
Proudly.
Know.
Proudly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I
okay.
heard
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay. But, if you know how it is here in San Francisco, usually I have my headphones on and I'm listening. And as I'm listening, I'm kind of talking to myself. And, when callers are calling in and I'm kind of talking back, but I'm talking to myself, to nobody. And then people are looking at me like, okay, just another one of those guys that are out talking to themselves out here on the streets, So,
yeah.
Well. But anyhow, you guys, you kind of brought up Frazier, and I was kind of wondering how Frazier was compared to the other two with Barton and JPJ. But I guess my question is I got one question on Evan Williams because you brought up Oregon, and one thing with Evan Williams, the safety, is he played at Fresno State and he played with our guy.
Bland.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they did play together, and in fact, bring this up to oh my God, my mind is going blank. Draft show. Bring this up to the LSU fan over there that loves the quarterback.
Okay.
And tell him to go back and look at film when Arizona State played Fresno State and Bland and Evan Williams were there on the field. And just look what they did to him.
Yeah.
And then maybe he'll have a different kind of, I know he's grown and matured and he's on LSU now, blah, blah, blah. But I guess my thing is with this draft is at this point, it's like I don't even really care who they get. I just want them to go out and get players and make this team better. And I kind of would like it to, if they could drop back twice. So, kind of drop back in the first round, still have that pick in the first round, and then kind of see who falls there. And if it's possible, maybe drop back again and try to get an early second round pick.
Yeah.
But if they did that, obviously you're gambling, and I still feel like they need to come out with a productive offensive lineman. I'm not sure how I feel about all the tackles, but I just think you're going to get better quality out of the centers at a pick like that. And that's where I'm thinking like Zach Frazier or Morgan. You guys brought up Morgan as well.
All right.
That's it. I don't really got, much more, but thanks for taking my call.
You.
And hey, go Cowboys.
All right. Thanks, Josh. What do you think about he's got a lot of trades there, a couple of trades What do you like about Morgan? He mentioned him.
Jordan Morgan, he's the guy that I have pinned as the first round pick tonight. That's my prediction. I think they trade back with Kansas City and grab Jordan Morgan. Durability, experience, versatility, those are all three things that stand out. 40-plus games of starting experience, didn't get hurt anytime in his college career. Really clean up front. He's got the mobility and athleticism to play tackle, but he's got like these T-Rex arms that might make it a little bit better to slide inside and play guard. But I think that's something that would be a really fun project for Mike McCarthy and Mike Solari to do during training camp with Tyler Smith and Jordan Morgan if they were both in the same building.
So who picks 25th?
25th is the Green Bay Packers.
Okay, so who do you think that the Packers want, that somebody like a Kansas City or somebody's got to jump to get? Is it receiver?
I don't think it's necessarily Green Bay. I think it's more so Buffalo, Baltimore. You could also make the case that maybe Tampa Bay could take a receiver. So and you also have Carolina and Washington that are going to be on the phones tonight looking to move into that late first round as well. So if the Chiefs we can go ahead and get 24. No one's going to trade above us, and we can go ahead and grab a receiver that can play at least 5 years with Patrick Mahomes. We're going to do that. So I think that's probably where the thinking comes in.
Okay, that's interesting. Let me get a text message question before we go back to the phone line here. This is Julio from Frisco. Maybe he's going to go to the draft party tonight. He says,
"Stay dry."
Yeah, he said, "I hope they get Barton or Powers Johnson in the first, Sweat from Texas in the second, Trey Benson in the third." And he said, "If you were Jerry tonight in another team," well, you're sneaking this one in. "If you were Jerry and another team calls about Dak, I know he has no trade clause, but would you take it for you? What would it take for you to entertain the idea of trading Dak for picks? Thanks, I love the show." Personally,
I'll let you handle this one.
If they were going to do that, that call needs to be made way before tonight.
Yeah,
because you got to figure all that out, and those picks better be happening now. And there's nothing like we're not talking about when the Cowboys are on the clock here, because nothing that happens after the Cowboys pick would really factor into this, unless you're talking about the next 3 number ones or something. That should have already been in the play in the cards, so the Cowboys can get your first round pick.
Yeah,
I don't think that's happening though. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think they want to do that. But Barton or Powers Johnson in the first, probably in that order.
Barton, yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Sweat in the second.
See, I would flip Trey Benson and Sweat in that sense, because I don't think he would be there at 87, so go ahead and grab him at 56 if you want Benson, and I think Sweat would be available there to you at 87. So.
You concerned at all about any kind of immaturity off the field?
Yeah, I am. And I got a lot of people down in Texas that I've talked to during this pre-draft process, and what he did in this last year really calmed a lot of concerns about work ethic and applying himself off the field and staying in shape and things of those nature. It calmed the concerns, but I don't think it completely answered all of them. And then once this DUI happens a couple of weeks ago, it kind of brought all that back to the forefront. So a team is definitely going to have to bring him in and go through a little bit of a maturity course with him early on. But I think he's going to be a great pro. I still do.
Yeah. Yeah, if you talk about, I went to one game and I saw him play in the championship game of Big 12 against Oklahoma State, and I think he caught a pass for a touchdown in the game.
He did
the Heisman pose. I was like, yeah, this guy's unbelievable. So, all right, good stuff. Travis in San Antonio's next.
Nick, what's going on? Both Nicks.
Yeah, good, man. How are you?
Welcome to the show. I'm good. I was going to call in and talk about the press conference, but I'm going to go with the old school saying, if you have nothing nice to say about it, just don't say anything at all.
Cool.
So I'm going to look forward towards the draft. And since we have the great Nick Harris here, I wanted to ask you, because I talked to Nick last week, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, and I saw the report that came out from Jane Slater about some things she's hearing. And I know they brought in the name that was eye-catching for a lot of people for the 30 visit was Tylisi Fuaga from Oregon State, because he's a guy that everyone's projecting to be like a top 15 pick. But I was asking Nick, and I know you said no trade up, but I think they could sort of flip a narrative, like if they wanted to sort of make an all-in move they have those comp picks coming next year. So I was wondering what do you think the chances are that they use that 2025 capital, a pick or something, to possibly go up and get Tylisi if he starts to slide a little bit? Like, I'm willing to do it if he gets to 18, 19, 20. I think it would be a mistake not to, because he's ready to go right now. So I just want to see what you thought on that. And then I got to ask, because Nick knows I'm a Michigan guy. and this is not just y'all, but like across the platforms. Can you explain like the Blake Corum snubbing? Because nobody's talking about, like, initially he got talked about and nobody's talking about him. And I know he had a knee injury as well last year, or 2 years ago at the end of the year, but he's already shown he came back from that knee injury, set records, carried that team to the championship. So there's no real issue with worrying about that. So I'm just curious why there's been so much like lack of Blake Corum, or if it's maybe because they know what he is already.
I can answer that, actually. Nick Harris, I don't even need Nick to answer that. I interviewed him, and I don't think there's a huge difference between him and Deuce Vaughn.
I think there's a huge difference. Huge difference.
I think he's mentioning height-wise.
I'm talking about height.
I don't care about height is one thing, Nick, but he's not the same type of back that Deuce Vaughn is. I understand Deuce is more of a shiftier guy. This guy, go watch him in the goal line. Like, he doesn't get stopped at the goal line. He is a rocked up 210 pounds. He is not a Deuce Vaughn.
Is you asked the question of why, and I bet you that's it. It's probably the same reason why the Mitchell from Texas is getting a bunch of play too, because he's not that. He, length and height and
think of it like this. I've been saying this like since the beginning. He's more of a Maurice Jones-Drew type than he is a shiftier scat back. Everyone's seeing the 5'7" or whatever 5'8" and seeing a shiftier back. He is tough as nails. He's the catalyst. You don't score 50+ touchdowns in your college career just by being. He's a workhorse. I don't think he would be benefited by having someone to take carries for him, but I think he's being overlooked because of the height. Go look at that dude, the way he's built. He's not built like Deuce Vaughn.
I don't think it's necessarily.
I didn't say he's built that way. But thanks for the call, Travis. I was just talking about height from a height standpoint, and I'm sure that's not helping him.
I don't think it's more so necessarily height with Blake Corum. Granted, 5'8", yeah, that's going to be a big factor. But I've kind of compared him to Kyron Williams during this process because he's a bowling ball. There's a lot of truth that Travis did have as far as what he can do between the tackles and in short yardage situations. But one thing you did mention, Travis, that I think is the key to all of that, and it might answer your question. He was a workhorse at Michigan, and more over the course of the last few draft cycles, teams are trying to find running backs that don't have a lot of mileage on them. You look at Jonathan Brooks, he only had 1 year of starting experience, and that's a lot of the intrigue that goes into him still being the consensus RB1. You look at Trey Benson, only 2 years of starting experience. There's a lot that goes into that. So tread on tires is also a really big part of it. But I mean, shoot, you look around. I mean, sure, there's some guys that think differently, but Blake Corum's a top 5 running back in this draft. I think any other class, that's positive, and I feel like that is in this class too. He's still going to be a 3rd round pick. He'll have an opportunity to shine, which is great for a running back.
All right, Mikey from Denver has a text question, and he says, if we're all in, why can't we move up in the draft? It seems like most are afraid and we want to invest in the draft capital. His go-to karaoke song is "Let's Go Crazy" by Prince, and his guy movie is Red Dawn.
Let's go.
I don't know if you've watched the show a lot. You're probably watching like tape from the wide receiver at a Wake Forest or whatever. I don't know. But on the show, we talk about karaoke songs.
Okay.
And also, favorite wrestler. That was kind of way back.
Yeah.
And then also, guy
You have to get
movies.
Patrick Walker in for wrestling.
You don't have a favorite wrestler?
I couldn't name you 3 wrestlers if you gave me 3 opportunities.
That's unbelievable. Okay. Karaoke song. Do you do that?
Karaoke song. I'm going to do, let me think. It's going to be something by Alicia Keys. I'm gonna get in my lungs a little bit, and I'm gonna boast.
Okay. Sorry, wow. Okay.
It's gonna be horrible, but I'm gonna do it.
Okay. Yeah. Good. And then guy movie. You just something.
Guy movie.
Just
Step Brothers.
So when I think of guy movie, I think of like a train like hitting a car and flipping it up and down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But it's definitely a guy movie.
That's not something
no
like the girl is asking, "Hey, what movie should we watch tonight, babe?" And like,
True.
I'm not saying Step Brothers.
That is true. Yeah. All right. Okay. Chris and San Angelo. Chris.
Hey,
Angelo.
Nick and Nick. Good to talk to you,
What's
gentlemen.
Up? How are you doing?
Not a lot. Hey, I'm doing wonderful. Thank you. Hope y'all are too.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I was listening while I was on hold, and so I might sound like a broken record. So I'm going to try to change it up a little bit. I'm on the bandwagon of a running back in the 3rd, and kind of poo-pooed on some of my thoughts. But I was wondering about Marshawn Lloyd. If there's a chance, he seems to be kind of a NFL ready running back from USC. I was just wondering what the thoughts, if there was any way he could make it to the third. And my only other thing is after the draft, Nick, whenever you do a interview, do a sit down interview. My wife said when she was watching you interview someone that you're too tall and you make the players look small. So
he's talking about you.
Yeah, I didn't know what he was talking about, but I guess
no. I'm talking about Mr. Eatman on this one.
Who did I interview? Mickey?
Oh, I thought no. It was the linebacker we got from.
Kendricks.
Yes, and yeah, my wife even made the comment they ought to get they ought to get me to interview him because of my stature, and I was like, no, that's not good. I would be asking the Chris Farley question.
He wasn't intimidated at all. Okay. He was good. I thought it went fine. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I would be the one to ask the Chris Farley question. Like, remember that time you sacked Patrick Mahomes? That was awesome, dude.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's all I had for you today, guys. Have a good one.
All right,
appreciate
good.
it.
Yeah.
San Angelo Central. Do you know the mascot?
Tigers.
Bobcats.
Okay.
It's all good.
That would have been my seventh choice. Yeah. Yeah. I know they're the Rams there at Angelo State. We've talked about that on the show. All right. I'm gonna give you. How about this mascot? Philippe in France.
Oh, let's go, Philippe. How you doing?
Hey guys, how you doing? I can't often call the show because of the jet lag. Mr. Hitman, I love this show because you let the fans express their feelings, and that's great. I want to thank everyone on stage and behind the stage for all the work you put in for those draft shows, years in and years out. Tonight it's going to be Friday the 26th at 1 a.m. when you start your shows. I'm ready to roll and go Cowboys. I have just what I like
Philippe,
for the draft.
Who are we taking? Who do you think the Cowboys should take?
I'd like them to take a center in the first. And Mr. Harris, I'd like to know who's your third round tackle. You could put beside Tyler Smith.
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate it, Philippe.
Thanks for taking my call. Good luck.
All right.
Have a great night. Take care. Be safe.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Philippe.
So a third round tackle. That's what he said. That's what he was asking for.
You got
I
me.
think Blake.
I couldn't hear
Blake
it
Fisher out of Notre Dame. That would be my ideal third round tackle fit.
The offensive tackle.
Yeah.
Okay, so center and then like a running back or a linebacker in the second round.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay. Let's go one more caller.
Mm-hmm.
One more. It's my favorite caller. Yeah, no doubt. Randy, Texarkana.
Oh, you manifested it.
Yeah. Randy.
This is how we do it.
There we go.
That's what I'm talking about. Hey, man. Dylan brought it earlier.
Did you hear that Nick Harris said he could sing Alicia Keys?
I heard a section of that, and, man, you better be able to bring it. That's all I got to say. Yeah, I'm going to try to lighten the mood, man. I don't have a whole lot. I just noticed that you was getting a little frustrated earlier, so I just wanted to say Dylan really brought it and kind of threw some stuff out there. And I always like it when Ali calls because I like the way he talks.
Let's
see, what do we got?
It does sound like Sling. I've seen that
exactly.
movie.
You see Sling Blade?
I could do a Sling Blade impersonation actually really well. But anyway, go ahead, Randy.
Well, that's the big
Hey, I'm here to talk, man. I'm just trying to make the end of your show a better deal. I'm just wanting to
I'm fine.
lighten the mood a little bit.
I mean, the mood's great. The mood's great. Now, Rob, yeah, he got under my skin a little bit, but that's what he does. That's what he's supposed to do. That's his job. And Rob, if you're still listening, you're the captain. You're always going to be the captain. Keep bringing it like that. I love when he calls. But, yeah, we're going to go back and forth a little bit. That's what you're supposed to do.
There
but,
you
Randy,
go.
You're sneaking up there now. You're up there.
Hey, I like it. I like it. But, I got to earn it, though. I don't want to just hand it to me.
Yeah. Well, you know what I love? I love about Randy the other day. He was going to call. So like last week, he was on the phone and he wasn't feeling right. He said he wasn't in the right mood. He said he was going to run his truck into a tree or something like that. So he hung up.
One of the callers, he was driving me nuts with his call, and I was like, this guy's going to make me run off the road into a tree.
So I'm glad you didn't do that.
My East Texas brethren, I have to ask you, did you go to high school in East Texas?
Texas High School. I was a Texas High Tiger. Played baseball for them, the whole bit. Yep.
Let's go.
So wait, you're on the Arkansas side now.
Well, when you marry somebody that has land on the Arkansas side, you kind of have to do that.
Hey, fair. Yeah, I respect that.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like my childhood right here. My dad, I actually have his class ring of Texas high school. He went to Texas High. My mom, Arkansas High.
I did not know that.
And
that's awesome.
They met at church. Yeah, that's how. I mean, Texarkana. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Texarkana. So
there you go. Oh, and speaking of which, Michael called Tuesday about the whole Texarkana. I'm not making this up just because I'm from Texarkana, but 100%. Smokey and the Bandit was my favorite movie growing up, so there's my movie for the day, the man movie. And the 1977 Bandit Trans Am is my all-time favorite car. So if people won't start calling in throwing out their cars now, we can add that to the list.
Yeah, okay.
But, and also, that scene was not actually Texarkana. That was shot in Jonesboro, Georgia, I believe. It's not even actually Texarkana, so we weren't quite that country. But
Hey, Randy. What do you know about Bryce's?
Oh, man, that's where all the old people go to eat.
That's where they would take me. I would go all the time. That's why I thought everybody in Texarkana was old. Because I would go there after lunch. It would be cafeteria. I thought it was like the greatest place ever.
And you got to be careful because I went in there one time and ordered just a couple things, and the bill was like $100, and I was like, "Wait a second, something's not right about this." So you got to watch them on that deal.
Right, well,
hey, we got some good eating there.
Who do you want them to take, Randy?
Man, I'm gonna keep it simple. I just hope that they trade with the Broncos for one of their new little young stallions coming up to give to Rowdy because he needs a damn horse.
That's fun.
Sounds good to me.
That's fun.
All right.
I can get behind that. Like a Pat Surtain?
No, I'm talking about an actual stallion. Rowdy needs a horse.
Rowdy needs a horse.
Yes.
Oh.
He's how many cowboys you see out there with a big hat and a big belt buckle, and they don't have a horse? Something ain't right about that. But
that's fair.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, I don't know. I'm going to keep it simple, just a center. And if not, that call I made the other day, as long as they're pouring it all on the offense and defensive lines, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rowdy needs a horse. All right. Randy?
Hey, guys, love y'all.
All right,
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hey, nice to meet you, Mr. Nick. I've been watching you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I tried. Man, your line was blowing up today, dude. It took me all the way to the very end to get in. It was crazy.
Yeah, not at the first, but once they found out Nick was coming on, then they slowed down, right?
That's why I did it.
All right, sounds good.
There you go. Hey, guys, y'all have a good day.
You too.
Have a good one.
Thanks, Randy.
All right, brother. All right, bye.
Just to save anyone else the embarrassment, we'll just end it there because you can't follow that.
Yeah, you can't follow up Randy.
Yeah, Randy, he's...
You got to end it with the East Texas brethren.
Yeah.
I didn't know you had Texarkana ties.
You didn't know this?
That's why we get along together, because you're East Texas at heart, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Okay.
You didn't know that my whole family was...
I thought y'all were just all Oklahoma.
Oh, no, Texarkana.
Okay.
All right. Well,
More you know.
Maybe I should get to know the people that work with us. All right, sorry about that. I don't even know how the interview process went. Yeah. So... Anyways, all right, guys. We got 14 calls. That's outstanding. Nick, I really appreciate you coming in. I know you've got a lot going on. You've been
Today's cool.
Yeah.
Today's fine. I'm just waiting until 6 o'clock. So
6 o'clock.
Yeah, 6 o'clock. Be back on here. Draft
Where's
show.
your spot here in the draft show? Over here?
Right here.
Oh, right here. This
yeah,
your spot.
That's my spot. So yeah.
So
he claimed it.
So who's this right here? Who's hosting?
That'll be Walchuk.
Zach
yeah.
Walchuk. We got Aisha.
Yep.
Broadus.
Yep. And then probably Bobby over here.
Bobby Belt over here at the Thanksgiving kids table over here. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah.
There'll be a lot of text message. Everyone's got their phone out, and then they'll be like, "I'm hearing this and hearing that." And so, yeah, I that's one thing that'll happen. Like even like in the first 10 picks, it's like Tennessee's on the clock. And you're like, what about this? Like everyone's got their people.
Kyle Yeomans texted me yesterday, like midday. He was like, because he started paternity leave last week, so he's been out of the building a little bit. He said,
a lot of it.
Yeah, you hearing any buzz on what's going on tomorrow? And I said, sources saying the sun will rise. Working to confirm. Like that's it. That's about all I can tell you right now. So we'll see.
I tell you what a surprise is that we went 14 calls, an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah,
and Ezekiel Elliott's name was not mentioned one time.
Hey, that's progress.
That's surprise. Because if all the shows that it's been mentioned, this one it probably could have been. Yeah. All right, there's probably something there. And I know he's in Dallas, but I don't know anything else other than that. All right, guys, appreciate it. For Nick Harris, for Chris Beam, you guys have an even bigger night tonight. And so make sure and check out the draft show, not just tonight, all weekend long. Their heads are gonna be spinning for 7 rounds and then some. So for Nick Harris, Chris Beam, I'm Nick Eatman. We'll see you next week on Cowboy Storyline. See you.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!